Hi, guys. Good morning. I am back with another amazing guest. I absolutely love this girl. She is so fun. Anne, thank you so much for being my guest this morning on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Sarah, and I absolutely love you too.
Yeah, we really connected about a week ago when we were in the Miami area at an event, and Anne is part of Kathleen Cameron's inner circle, and she's just an amazing person. So my goal was to interview the members of the inner circle so that people can get inspired by you know, their stories. So, Anne, can you go ahead and just tell us a little bit about like your background before you found Kathleen Cameron's inner circle?
Yeah, sure. So I have a twisty turvy or whatever, curvy
Yeah.
background. I started out as a social justice activist in college and very passionate about trying to just create a better world, for people. And then when I didn't feel like I was getting taken seriously enough, I decided to go to law school.
Ooh.
And then with all the law school debts and everything, I went from having more of a, you know, corporate mindset, let's say, instead of
Yeah.
instead of the social justice mindset, although it was always inside of me. And after doing that for several years, I realized it just wasn't lighting my soul, and I literally Googled unhappy lawyer, and there was
I see a book in your future. That's like a great title.
something else wrote it. It was so funny. So this person was a lawyer turned coach, and she had a book called The Unhappy Lawyer. And so I'm like, oh my God. Like,
Funny.
I downloaded the first few pages of this
Yeah.
person's book, and she happened to name her coach training school. So I was like, okay. So I Googled that, of course. And serendipitously, their intro course was that Friday in DC where I was living at the time.
Wow, that's
And so
so
I was like,
cool.
okay, I want to do this. So I did it.
Yeah.
And then a month later I quit my big six-figure job.
1 month.
Um it was
Wow.
ridiculous. And I'm kind of
Whoa.
glad I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just let the passion move me.
Good
So
for
I
you.
I I did this. I started my own shop. I did that for 7 years,
Wait, back
and
up. You started your own shop doing what? What was the course that you took? And yeah.
yeah, so I did okay, so I went to Coaches Training Institute. I became a certified coach. I started doing women's empowerment work.
Ooh.
My company at the time was called Evolving Goddess, and I wrote this book called 101 Affirmations for Radical Self-Love, and
What?
it was beautiful. Like what
That
was
is awesome.
created was so beautiful.
Mm.
Financially, I struggled
Okay.
as an entrepreneur, and
Yeah.
I don't think I was really mentally ready for the ups and downs that I was experiencing. I know that's not every entrepreneur's
Sure.
path. And so, at the time I was going to support my then partner with school. So I was like,
Mhm.
I need a stable job. And so
Wow.
I decided to up and move to Minnesota to
Wha-
become the chief diversity and inclusion officer for a large law firm. And
Wow.
that's what I currently do.
Okay. So are you currently in Minnesota then?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no,
Okay.
no. I relocated back to New York when we opened a
Okay.
New York office. So it's been
Perfect.
about a year or so since I've been in this
Got it.
tri-state area. So
Okay. And then do you get to work from home with this role or do
I
you
do.
commute in? Thank goodness. Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Me too, because the commute is like an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, I can't even imagine trying to commute in New York. No way. Okay, so you followed your passion, you struggled a little bit with the entrepreneur side, the money side. It probably, I'm just guessing, it probably would have come. It's just like you said, you felt nervous because you wanted to support your partner's goals, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, you really took a huge leap of faith though, and you did create some beautiful things. So that's really, really amazing. And you're not done, right? Like you didn't just go back to the corporate world and call it a day. So what happened next? So you're back to you're doing this job and
Yeah. So, I still feel my calling. And I wasn't, I honestly I wasn't expecting to join a coaching program or a mastermind or anything like that. I knew that I wanted to have more wealth because I have a
Mhm.
daughter. She's 2.5 and she is just amazing and I want to give her every it's so cute. And I want it for myself too. Like,
Yeah.
for a long time I didn't want luxurious things or anything like that. I was just fine with scraping by.
Mhm.
But I don't want that for myself anymore. I don't
You've been there, done that. You're
been
ready
there, done
for
that.
something more. Yeah.
But also it's like I know deep inside of me that I'm supposed to do something to help heal humanity.
Yeah.
I don't really have the clearest sense of what that is yet. And
Yeah.
I'm allowing myself to be in what I call the question mark. I'm just sort of
I love
like,
that.
so
That's
that's
okay.
what I'm doing. I found Kathleen on YouTube. Something about her energy really resonated. And I was
Yes.
like, I got to do this. I don't know why. And what's funny is, I think you'll get a kick out of this. I had actually submitted a resignation um to my employer, and then
Yeah.
the when I signed up for Kathleen's millionaire program, like
Yeah.
I somehow that day I was like, oh, I think I need to not quit just yet.
Mm.
So I withdrew my resignation.
Thank
Um,
goodness they let you.
oh yeah, they love
Mm.
me. Really, it's been a blessing. It's been a
Good.
blessing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sorry to cut you off though. So you withdrew and then you continued with the course and continued with work, right?
yeah. So here I am. I am allowing myself to explore and trying to reconnect with my divine feminine.
Mm.
I think
Yeah.
so much of how I functioned up until now was, work hard and everything was driven. But I
Yes.
burnt out,
Yeah.
I put on about 30 pounds in 1 year.
Yeah.
My like I wasn't feeling good. And I
Mhm.
was self-medicating, if I'm being totally honest.
Sure. I mean, all of us do. We have some sort of vice or another. Mine was also food, and maybe sleeping. Like I'd feel depressed and like want to sleep all weekend.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
totally get that, Sarah. Totally get
Yeah.
that.
So this is a cool story. So I have a few different questions coming to my mind, but let's go back to your just this deep desire to heal the world. Can you because I just have this feeling that there's going to be somebody watching this that is going to be like, I want that too, or I know how I can support her. So can you just speak from your heart? What kind of things do you feel the world needs to be healed from? What aspect, not the logical part, but like the part that drives you? Let's go
Yeah,
there.
that's such a great question. We're just so divided and disconnected
Mhm,
from the truth of who we really are.
mhm.
We are really love. Like at our essence,
Yeah,
humanity, this is my belief.
yeah,
And I know there's a lot of evidence
yeah,
to the contrary, but I really fundamentally believe that people are good.
yeah,
Bad things can happen that can shift that, but that ultimately, people are good and that their baseline, like the true nature is love and light.
yeah. I love that.
And I want to help people reconnect with that. I think it starts with the self. I think, you have to work on loving yourself and really accepting who you are. And it's a journey. Like
Mhm.
I'm turning 50 in April.
That's
And
amazing. You do not look it. You really look like you're in your like late 20s, early 30s to me. Like crazy.
thank
Work
you
it,
so
girl.
much. Well, this is part of what I'm manifesting is reversing my
Yeah,
age. It's really been fun.
that's so cool. It's working.
Thank you. Um, and then yeah, so I think that's the essence of it. I know that I have some gifts as well.
Mhm,
Like I remember I was in kindergarten or first grade, and one of my classmates fell and she twisted her ankle and she couldn't get him.
mhm.
Like she could not walk on it. She couldn't lean on that leg.
Yeah,
And I don't
probably
know what
strained it.
happened, Sarah, but I intuitively,
Yeah.
as a little itty bitty, right? Just
Yeah, you were in
intuitively
first
started,
grade.
yeah, I just started going like really like fast and getting my hand hot. And I did
Yeah.
something with her ankle. Like I placed
Yeah.
hands on it,
Yeah.
I sent some energy and she immediately walked, like
That's so
immediately got
cool.
up.
That's
I
so cool.
know. Like
And
I have not had that kind of experience again, although
yeah.
recently I have a friend
Mhm.
who has been having like her cat was dealing with some stuff and I was able to send energy
Yeah.
like
Just
and
intentions. You sent an intention of
yeah,
energy and love and
yeah.
healing.
And the cat was better,
That's
so
so cool. That's so
um
cool. It
so
just
I
shows where your heart is. You have a powerful energy and you want to do good. And we are made in the likeness and image of God. And God is love. And so it makes a lot of sense what you're saying.
thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for saying that because sometimes it feels, you know, so out of the ordinary, so strange, you know?
What's interesting is it's actually more like the truth is it's actually the ordinary, but everybody else is so lost from it, so disconnected from, from that love energy and all that, that they're the one. That's why it's like backwards, right? It's upside down, you
Yeah.
know? It is the mainstream, it is the truth, but everyone else is disconnected. So it's making you seem like you're the odd one out.
I
But
wonder, Sarah, like because you deal with forces, if you're
mhm,
able to tap into that, like
yeah,
the truth
yeah.
with a big T more easily. Are you?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think people that love animals, I think there's something there. They're so special. They don't have all the stories in their heads like humans do, and they are gifts from God. That's my belief. And then, like some people, as an example, I do a technique called spinal flow technique. And some people think that with horses or big animals that you have to like push harder on their access points or interact with them more rough or just more pressure because they're a big animal. But it's actually completely the opposite. They, if you ever stand next to a horse, you'll see their skin twitch to because they sensed a fly land on them. So they'll twitch it and the fly moves off. So if they can feel a fly, they do not need us like jabbing our finger into them to work on them. You know what I mean? They're very, 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 very sensitive beings, and they're very keen on energy. So they know your intention. Like when you walk into their space, they can feel it. So if your intention is to heal them or to give them love, they feel that. They trust you and they pick up on that. If your intention is, well, if you just don't even have an intention and you're just in a bad mood and have a bad day, they might walk away from you. They're like, don't
Oh,
put that into my space.
that's so great.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. So yeah, I think that just so many people are disconnected, which is why coming back to what you said, it makes you feel like the odd man out, but really you're on the right track. And everybody else just needs to kind of like get more grounded and get connected again to what is truth and how how God made us all with this ability. We can feel when somebody comes up behind us. We have our energetic like zone, our
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
And so this stuff is not woo woo. It's actually reality. And it's awesome that people like you are out there that want to help people reconnect to that. It's really powerful.
Thank you. And thank you for the reframe. I needed that, Sarah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and you love humans and animals, and I know you're going to do a lot of good in the world. So let's explore that a little bit more. Do you think that you would like to go back to what did you call it? Goddess. What did you call your
Evolving goddess.
evolving goddess? Yeah. Do you think that you're gonna maybe go full circle back to her and to that website and and expand upon that and maybe write another book, or do you want to do like coaching like on video like this, or what are your thoughts?
Actually, I don't think I want to go back to coaching.
Okay.
Um, I I don't know yet fully.
Yeah, and that's okay.
Yeah, I do want to do something with healing, like with my hands. I do want to do something on YouTube. So it's really cool that you invited me for this because this is my first
Yay,
YouTube, you know.
cool. Oh, this is exciting.
It really is.
Awesome.
But in terms of like more detail, I don't really know.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
this morning as I was meditating, I did get some words, I call God like the divine, you know. I got some words from the divine about y- that my message, my presence, like those are part of my gifts,
Yeah.
to heal.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, so it's coming,
Love it.
I am trying to be patient with it.
Yes. Well, and you don't have to feel rushed because you do have this full-time, I'm assuming it's full-time job that you enjoy, and it gives you a measure of freedom because you don't have to commute into it. So you do have the ability to kind of build both, as you go, and that's a beautiful thing, and when you just keep following those inspired thoughts that come through, um, you know, it's going to lead you there, and it'll be right on time, perfect timing, right? So there is no reason to feel rushed about it.
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
And I just, like I said, I just really feel in my gut like somebody's gonna you are powerful in your own right, just you're showing up on the video this morning. So somebody's gonna see this and resonate with it. And who knows, right? You might end up collaborating or getting some great ideas and just more friendships and find your path that way,
I
you know?
love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So energy healing. You'd mentioned that you would love to be able to do more of that. Do you have any ideas on like what ways you would like to do that? For instance, like I'm learning this, well, I am certified in spinal flow technique. But there's lots of different modalities out there. Or are you thinking maybe creating your own, or do you have any ideas on that?
Um, I actually wasn't thinking about studying anything. I was going with whatever happens organically within me. Now, I do feel like I need to spend more time in meditation or self-reflection, just quiet, let's say,
Yeah.
just in the silence to receive the downloads or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because there is something, and I feel like it's already in me. I just have to like open the door. And right
Yeah.
now, I'm like, where is the door? Where is the door? Like,
I love it. Well, and then like Kathleen always tells us, just sitting and asking ourselves, what would we love, right? So if you like, even when I decided to move to Florida, that's why I ended up picking Florida, because I started asking myself over and over, what would I love? And I started just writing down words, and it kept coming back to the top things of like tropical fruit, being able to ride my horse all year round, and being near, international airports where I can do a nonstop flight to Europe and other places. And those three things kept coming to me over and over and over. And I'm like, well, Florida's the obvious choice then, And so when you do this and maybe you journal it, you're gonna come down to the top like 3 to 5 things that just keep on repeat, and then you're gonna know.
that's really helpful. Because it's funny how sometimes I got stuck in that exercise. And by the way, I gotta say, you are really brave. I love, I love that you were like, I'm going to
You mean
Florida.
move to Florida? Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Yeah, it's funny because a previous coworker had told me that they thought I was like timid and not confident. And I remember thinking to myself, you have no idea. Like, I lived in China like for a year by myself. And I lived in well, I didn't live there, but I went to Argentina for a month and Italy for a month, and didn't know a soul, and backpacked and did all these things. And I think people were also starting to be like, Sarah's getting complacent. She's lived in the same place for like over 10 years. And so I wanted to shock everybody. That was part of it. Like, I still got this. I still got this in me.
Yes, you
I'm gonna move across the
do. It's
country.
powerful and it's inspiring, you know.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Yeah.
And I think the fact that you reflected on the question multiple times, that's such good advice for your audience, for anybody listening, that sometimes you have to ask the question multiple times and allow yourself to see the truth of what you're really doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because eventually, like, it's like sifting, right? You're gonna sift out the noise, and then at the end, you'll have like whatever didn't fall through, and you're like, okay. that's it. So, yeah.
I love
Um, I just can't wait to, like, revisit this in, like, 3 months, 6 months, a year from now, and just see, like, who is Anne then? What did Anne end up doing? It's so exciting. It's
I'm
like
super excited too.
we're just, kinda opening the chapter right now, and later we come back and our audience will know, like, the rest of the story.
Yeah, I would love that. And in fact, can I share a few things?
Of course, this is your interview. Oh, please.
So this is something I would encourage everyone to do is start to just follow the whispers, like
Wow.
the little voice inside or the little knowing. Like for me, it's not necessarily a voice all the time. Sometimes it's like, I got to do this. Like it's just like an assuredness.
Mhm.
Even if it sounds crazy to everybody else, even if it doesn't make logical sense or anything like that,
Yeah,
just follow it. And I'm going to give the listeners like a chance to hear it play out.
yeah.
So, I separated from my ex last July 4th, my freedom day. It's what
Okay, awesome.
it is awesome. And, I've just been following little intuitive hits ever
Mhm.
since then. Like I was looking for a place to live and actually was looking at a property. I was going to come look at a property for my ex. And when I saw it though, I was like, oh, this place is for me. Like I felt it. And then I come to discover that my my home has the number 13 in it and it has the word daisy in it, and those are affiliated with goddesses, which kind of ties
How
back
funny is that?
it
That's
right,
cool.
like the divine feminine. The
Yeah,
number 13 is actually part of the divine feminine, but it's
okay.
been kind of like taken over or bastardized,
Oh,
and
gotcha,
to be
gotcha.
made afraid of the number 13,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Okay, that's good to know.
isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So I was floored. And then from there, like I kept going with the goddess theme. And then I just sort of stumbled upon the goddess Isis. And then I felt this call to go to Egypt. And
Oh,
I booked a solo trip to Egypt. And then I thought I was going to get some kind of spiritual download.
mhm.
I thought you're going to laugh, but I literally was like, okay, I'm probably going to be at the pyramids. And then like some kind of light is going to shine on me. And all of a sudden I'm going to be like,
Yeah,
oh, I got magical powers. I
right.
know this
That's okay. That's what you were imagining.
was totally what I was imagining. No, instead, what ended up happening was I met I met somebody that just feels like a very strong alignment and
Yeah,
like a twin flame in a very
yeah,
positive way. And I'm just, same thing with like signing up for Kathleen's thing. All of
yeah.
these things were just like, you gotta do this.
You
This
just
makes no
followed it.
logical sense. It's like, and you don't have a business. Why would you sign up for a coaching program? I don't know, but I gotta do this,
Yeah, and you're not double, triple questioning it, you're just, like, going with the flow, and I think that's, like in my mind, I think of it like a river, like, you jumped from the struggling river where you're trying to swim upstream, effort, 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 struggle, and you, like, flipped over the bank into the flow, and now you're just floating down the river and going in the flow, and it's
Yes,
wonderful, and it's easy, and it's fun, and it's leading you to these surprising, delightful end results that you never would have imagined.
exactly. And wonderful connections. Like I met
Yeah,
all these amazing people
yeah,
over this last year.
yeah,
Um, and it's, including you, right? Like it's
yeah.
just so great to be able to connect with people that are better aligned, and
Yeah, yeah, people that don't think that you're like earlier, you're like, I know people might think this is crazy and blah blah blah. Like, I think it's just really a matter of the people that, well, the people that are connected and maybe enlightened and the people that aren't, right? So you're up leveling your circles.
yeah,
It's pretty
yeah,
cool.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's worth gold for sure. To have found a tribe, feel like you fit in and other people are speaking the same language.
Yeah, it really is. Because then you see more of yourself You get affirmed in who you really are.
Yeah.
Um, and I think we need that. I think going back to the original comments about humanity and how
Yeah.
disconnected we are, I said earlier, it starts with ourselves. And
Mhm.
I'm realizing that now I'm much more authentically me,
Mm.
but it had to take years of deconditioning, and just being able to say, okay, like that's other people's paradigms, that's other people's desires for me. It's
Yeah.
not really what I want.
Mm.
Um, and
So
now
powerful.
I'm just embracing more and more. And I'm even bringing it to my corporate job, more of
Good.
this mystical, spiritual bent that I have.
Yeah, well, and it's probably making your corporate job even more successful too. Like what you're doing for your corporate job is if you're tapping into your flow, into what feels right, you're probably more effective.
Yeah. And I'm teaching it for others, in a way that they can hear it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that that has been really a game changer for some people. Like,
That's
just,
so cool.
once you open the mind, woo,
Sorry, it's our hurricane. It's okay. They just keep doing this to us.
okay, are you okay? Do you
Yeah, it's a
know?
beautiful day at the moment. At the moment, it's the calm before the storm. So
Oh, good.
anyway, we're good. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. I kind of love this. This is just life.
Yes, yes, exactly. Like honestly, these teachings, this stuff that we're talking about is even helping me stay calm before this hurricane. I see the whole world freaking out around me. The news hypes things up, and not to say that it's not really dangerous in certain areas, of course. But, friends and family from around the country have been texting me and they're all worried about me and all this stuff. And I'm just like in this like calm place. Like you know, why borrow trouble in the future that hasn't even happened yet? I'm just gonna make the decisions each hour by hour. Of course prepare, right? You'd be smart, have the water on hand and the food on hand and all this stuff. But don't let myself get into a state of frenzy. Just be calm about it. Have trust, have faith, and deal with what happens as it's happening in the present, not worrying endlessly into the future.
Oh, that is so powerful. That's so powerful.
Yeah, it feels good. Like I'm really chill right now. I'm fine. And then, I mean, worst case scenario, if something bad did happen, at least I would die feeling comfortable. What I mean? But why? Mark Twain has a quote. I'm gonna get it wrong, but the gist of it is, I've I've lived through many traumatic events, most of which never happened.
This is so true. And we do that to ourselves, don't we?
We do, and we need to stop that, man,
We really do. We really do.
because our bodies don't know the difference between that, what we have imagined happening in the future, and it actually happening. So we're just causing ourselves all this dis-ease and stress, on a cellular level that is wasted energy. It could
Yeah.
be, we could be, instead in inputting faith and confidence and trust and things that are going to make us stronger and feel better.
And honestly, the outcomes end up better when we are
They
in that.
do.
They just do. And the process, the outcomes and the process, both are better.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it takes faith to imagine a worst case scenario, the same amount of faith to imagine a best case scenario, right? It's just both of them are faith because you don't know which way it's going to tip. So you might as well have faith in the best case scenario.
Exactly. Exactly. I really hope somebody grabs onto what you just said.
Thank you. Well, and likewise, you also dropped some pretty awesome, inspirational nuggets for us today. So pretty cool. And I love your story too, because there's a lot of people watching this that are in your same shoes. They're working their corporate jobs still. They have a passion for more, but they don't quite know yet what it is. And I think what I'm getting from your story, and maybe you can add to this if I don't cover it all, but what I'm getting is you're applying what you're passionate about to your present situation by taking it into the corporate job and interacting with your coworkers and stuff like that, helping inspire them in ways that they can accept. So you're living it currently, but you're also, not letting go of the dream. You are continuing to do self-improvement and to follow those intuitive hits as they happen. I mean, even just the relationship one that you mentioned about going to Egypt. Think about how many people maybe are really, really wanting to find the love of their life, and they keep going to bars or, dating apps, and they're going down all the conventional routes to find the love of their life, and they're not working for them. Maybe they just have this desire to go to the Philippines, and they're like, why do I want to go to no. What Anne is saying is book the ticket. Go where your heart is calling you, because you just never know. Maybe you'll meet a business partner. Maybe you'll fall in love. Maybe, who knows? But there is a reason that you have a desire to go on this vacation, you know?
Yes.
So follow it.
Yes, exactly. Follow it. Follow the whispers, right? Like the other stuff is so loud. What you should do, who you ought to be, shoulda, woulda,
Yes,
coulda. That is
yes.
so loud.
And the guilt,
But
like, I shouldn't spend this, I shouldn't do that, the guilt trips you put on yourself, or that other people might judge you for it, or whatever. All the noise.
so much, and it's loud. I mean, I had, when I booked the trip,
Mhm.
I had so many people like, are you sure? Are you going by yourself? Isn't it
Yeah,
dangerous?
questioning
You
everything. Yeah.
everything, well, what about what's happening, the wars that are happening in that region? Like, what?
Mhm.
And I'm just like, no, I am going to be fine,
Good
like,
for you.
'cause it reminds me of what you're doing in this storm, where in this hurricane, where you're like, no, like, yes, noise, news, blah, blah, blah. I get it, but
Yeah.
that's not my reality. I'm
I
sorry.
love that. I love that. And back to you when you complimented me for being brave and moving across the country. That was brave of you to go to Egypt by yourself, and, in a war region, wars happening in that region, and on, like all the things that the people threw up at you. That was very brave. But you just had this inner knowing, this inner sense that you were going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you have to claim it.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's fun. Like the other thing that happened when I was there is I met this wonderful Egyptian family,
Mm.
and they invited me to their home for dinner. And most people would never do this, like they wouldn't just accept an offer to go to somebody's house in a country they don't know. Most of the folks in the family don't speak English, I
Yeah.
don't speak Arabic. But trusted
Yeah.
the energy off of them, and I was like, yeah, yeah, I'll be there. Like, I'll be at your house. And I did. They made a feast for me. And we are now, like, it was the most beautiful night. It was my last night. They made a feast for me. We went out dancing until I had to catch my flight back to New York. It
Wow.
was like,
Probably friends for life now.
we are friends for life,
You got a place to go visit.
including the grandma that came to the airport to send me off and
Really?
cried when I left.
Grandma did? Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Like,
And that takes you right back to, you may not have had that experience if you hadn't already told yourself that people are good at their core.
this is exactly right. So I have to say, my ex has a more, like, negative,
Yeah, jaded perspective.
distrustful of people,
Yeah.
of skeptical of society, like, kind of vibe. And that person definitely attracts a lot more of
Of
those
that.
situations.
Yes.
And my life feels like a beautiful unfoldment,
Yeah.
even the difficulties. Like, for me, for example, I was feeling some kind of way, like victimy,
Yeah.
about my past relationship and what I had done. And then recently, I just finally was like, no, Anne, is this really what I want? Do I really want to feel like a victim? Do I really want to continue to give my power away?
Right.
And I was like, no, I don't. And so I finally was just like, you know what? Those were the decisions and choices I made at that time. They were the
Yeah.
best choices I could make at that time. And I stand, like, I own my choices. And there was such a freedom. Like, I was like, I'm no longer beholden
Yeah.
to you because I no longer have this story.
So
And
powerful.
that was that was huge for me because I took my power back in that moment.
That is absolutely huge. I actually just discovered something yesterday that I want to share with you because it's like one step further that it's so powerful. Anyways, I had an interview with Yan from Hong Kong. And so if you have a
I
chance to
love
watch
her.
it,
I love.
yeah, she's amazing. And she went deeper into Neville Goddard's teaching about revising your memories. And so I wanted to do it yesterday, but it ended up being a hectic day. This morning when I woke up, like when you're just kind of like half and half in that dream state and not quite awake, for some reason my subconscious went for it. Like, I don't know, I thought it was perfect timing. It was awesome. But I started revising some past memories. And so I picked the one that was, coming into my mind, and I created a new story. And I literally tell you, I was laying there and my stomach was like swirling and shifting, and like I could feel things move, like happening in deep within. And then after that, and I felt way better afterwards. And then after that, my subconscious picked up on like maybe two more stories, and like it was addictive. Like I was feeling so much better just completely creating a new story for myself on my memories.
I love that.
You got to try it. It's like a total game changer. And Yan was saying yesterday that with her clients, people literally could change a story and then within that week have attracted what they wanted that they weren't able to have all this time, because it released something that they're no longer attached to, and they're a new person because of it.
That's so deep. That's so great. And it's
It's
so
really cool.
powerful, because ultimately, like, this is one of the things I'm so grateful to Kathleen for, is recognizing that everything is in your head. Like,
Yeah.
you give the meaning to
Yeah,
everything.
that's so true.
My parents had taught me, oh, what would other people think? So
Right.
they gave that meaning.
Yeah.
And, now I'm like, do I care?
Right.
Do I have to care?
No.
No. Does that have to be my meaning? No. It could be
Yeah.
something totally different. And
Yeah.
I think that's how we really reclaim our power and our lives. How many of us are just like either victimized or feel trapped or stuck or something, because that's the story, that's the meaning that we gave all of it.
Yeah. And that we can go back. We can change the memory at its inception, but we also can just change the story that we're putting behind it, which is what you did with your relationship breakup. And you gave yourself a new story, one that serves you and empowers you. And yeah, you're right. It is really life-changing stuff. So a plug for Kathleen Cameron's courses. Anybody that is interested in doing that, we highly recommend it. Obviously, Anne did the Millionaire Program, and I haven't done that one yet, but they're all so powerful, and you're just going to be a different person, you know, when the program's over, if you do it. It's exciting. So we are getting kind of close to an hour. Is there anything that's just on your heart that you want to express, or anything that I didn't ask, or about yourself, your story, or anything?
I would say, don't forget how powerful you are. That's for everybody listening. We are so much more powerful than we realize. And the only reason why we don't feel it is because we've chosen to give that power away somewhere. So you get to reclaim it.
Love that. So if somebody heard you say that and they're like, but how? How?" What would you advise them to do next?
I think spend some time with yourself, really getting to know yourself. I don't think we know ourselves so much sometimes. So be in that quiet. Ask yourself the questions that you would ask a date, you know,
That's
or somebody that
good.
you're trying to get to know. And listen for the answers. You know, as you're talking, don't just listen to the words, but pay attention to how your body feels. Is
Yes.
there like are you holding your breath a little? Is there a tightness somewhere as you're like, yeah, I'm this, but you don't, like something just doesn't, it's not aligned. So if you're feeling that, then you know, go into the question about that. What's going on there? What's this tightness? Where is this coming from? I just yesterday started to, like, I was making a big decision and I was feeling some kind of way, like I was feeling a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And rather than either ignore it, which is something I used to do, and just charge through because I made the decision,
Yeah.
or completely succumb to the discomfort, I started to question it and like have a conversation with it. And what I discovered was there was a teenage me that had some fears about
Mhm.
being hurt. And then there was like a 30-year-old me that also had separate types
Yeah.
of concerns. And once I was able to sort of hear it and kind of think about those fears and see how would I feel about this decision if I could address some of those fears.
Yeah.
I mean, I became solidified in my decision, without the nervous energy that I think could unintentionally um, lead to a manifestation that you don't want. You know what I
Very,
mean?
very good point. Very
So
good point. Kind of what I heard in that too is you gave yourself the respect and attention that your teenager self craved and needed, and then you addressed your 30 something year old self and you listened to her and you had a conversation with her, and both parts of yourselves felt heard and acknowledged, and basically you did for yourself what a best friend would do, right? So we can that was pretty cool. I love that you told that story because one, people don't slow down, like, especially, people with kids and families and husbands and people. It's busy, it's hectic, it's noisy, but, like, powerful, powerful to actually have quiet time by yourself so that you can actually hear, you know, and feel and then address and give yourself that self-love like you did. And I think that's where the magic happens, that, you can spend a year and never get anywhere, or you can spend 20 minutes and change a ton of stuff if you go
my
within.
God, so true. It doesn't take long.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't take long, but you have to be willing to hear yourself.
Yeah, and now back to your example, now you can move forward with your decision from a place of, more powerful, confident, high vibe, just a good energy that's going to attract good things.
That's exactly right. And I'm, this manifestation thing, that's really important. I don't think I realized how important it was until we were just talking, but we do. Like, if we're not conscious of it, sometimes there is a lingering lower vibe thing
Yes,
in
yes.
you.
The sponsoring thought that Kathleen
Yeah,
mentioned.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's there. That is what is attracting.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
we think it's like, oh, but I consciously thought this, like, you know,
Yeah. But subconsciously is the more powerful one, and we want to we need to address those subconscious thoughts. And the only way to do that is to get quiet and ask questions and notice how we feel, right?
exactly.
That was huge. That was huge. You guys, like, she's coaching already. She's on YouTube coaching. And I don't know about everyone else, but I would love to feel like a goddess. So I'm already like, I'm attracted to your message. I think that's so powerful, and it's just, I don't know, it's beautiful. So thank you for sharing yourself with us and with the world, and cannot wait to see like how you develop this passion of yours.
Thank you, Sarah. And you already are a goddess, my dear.
Thank you. I'm gonna own that.
Yes, yes.
I love it. All right. Well, I really appreciate your time this morning, and thank you for being my beautiful friend, and for coming on today.
Thank you so much. This was so great. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too.